everybody, welcome to the Common Game Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I'm here to review 1985's Hellraiser as my horror classic. The new Hellraiser just came out earlier yesterday from the time I'm recording this, and I will probably be reviewing that and also posting that up as well as soon as I get done watching it. But I figured I needed to watch the original. Now either it's been a long time since I've seen the original Hellraiser, or I never saw the original Hellraiser. But watching it, it felt like I had never seen it before. So I'm gonna just go with I never seen it before. But this movie is well known for, particularly back in the day, being well known for multiple things. One is its gruesome design of its Cenobites, which are these demons, these pleasure and pain demons from hell, and the design of them, particularly the iconic, Pinhead, who's an iconic Cenobite, who's an iconic, horror character. Anybody knows exactly who that is when you see it. Everyone knows exactly what that design looks like, the leather and all that. Everyone knows it when they see it. Everyone knows Pinhead. And that's what this movie is known for its monster / Cenobite design. And also it's known for being a bit more, now at its core, because I had heard things about this movie, about how it's a bit more smarter, about how like a message in it, and that, although it's an 80s horror movie, it still has a message and it's a bit more sophisticated, and it's a bit more on the edge. And it was that in many bits. But at its core, it is really an 80s horror movie. It's an 80s horror movie it's a slightly smarter 80s horror movie, so to speak. Though it does have a message. There is definitely messages about sex addiction and pushing it too far, because there's definitely a message about that. Because if you really take a step back, the whole story is really about a man's addiction becoming his undoing, and him hurting other people in the process because of his addiction. If you want to be technical, that really is the story, in a way, is a man's sex addiction, not only self-destroying himself, but hurting other people, obviously. In this case, taking it to the next level, killing other people. And really at the core of the story, that's what it is. And when you have that as the basis of it, it's not really just the sex addiction, it's addiction in general. As a man's addiction, just like the metaphor of that destroying his life and hurting the people around him, that is really the metaphor and the base of it. But to be fair, the person who's addicted that we're talking about in this movie is a guy named Frank. Now, Frank is a sexual deviant to the extreme. Like, this dude is like exploring sex and pleasure and pain, and like he's really out there with his sexuality. He's really out there. And I mean, this dude is going out. He's really out there. And he's an awful, despicable human being. Shitty human being. Like, and in reality, you go into this movie thinking, if you've never seen it before, you might go into this movie thinking Pinhead's the villain. You might go into this movie thinking the Cenobites are the villain. But in actuality, Frank is the villain. Because in the hour and 20, I'd say this movie is about an hour and 27 minutes, let's say, give or take. And in the hour and 27 minutes, the Cenobites are only on screen for about 10, 15 maybe? They're only on screen for about 10, 15 minutes of it. Hell, Pinhead's only on screen for about 10. So the main guy on the cover, the guy who's iconic, he's only in the movie for like about 10 minutes. About 10, 12 minutes, give or take. Now, granted, that actor who plays Pinhead, that dude, not only is the design awesome, it's something we've all seen. We all know that the Pinhead design is a very iconic, very unique design. But the dude's voice and demeanor and look, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty intimidating. You see a dude pins all on his face with a deep ass voice like that, a deep commanding voice like that, looking at you or smiling at you saying, "I can't wait to show you pleasure," you would be freaking the fuck out too. And honestly, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, I buy this. Like, if hell existed, if it exists, and demons existed, I buy that there would be demons who literally are like who specialize and who are wrapped around the pleasure and pain and the like pleasure and pain are two things that kind of coincide a bit. They're the flip reverse of each other. That's why they coincide a bit. I mean, there's an entire industry made on that. You got dominatrixes out there, and the design of the Cenobites is kind of a reflection of that, kind of a reflection of how we imagine that when we think about the idea of pleasure and pain. We think about that. We think about like dominatrix. We think about these women and leather spanking the dude or something. We think about that kind of shit, and their kind of outfits kind of reflected that as well. But yeah, but the main story is just to get this out of the way, is that Frank, looking for a new level of pleasure and high or ecstasy he can get to, is in the middle of some random country, we don't know where, they never really say, and he purchases this box. And it's a puzzle box. And once you solve the puzzle box, it opens up a portal to another realm, which we find out is technically hell. It's just a part of hell. Opens up a portal to a part of hell where these beings known as the Cenobites will show you great pleasure. Will take you to the height of pleasure in the height of pain. And they will tear you apart slowly. And the vibe you get is, at least the vibe I get, particularly from Frank, is that it does start off pleasurable. Like when they first show up, it starts off pleasurable. And then they just keep going. And it's like, ow. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. Ow, ow, ow. And it just keeps going and going and going until they tear you apart limb by limb. Slowly as possible. And it looks bad. It looks bad. It does. I'm like, whoo. When those hooks come in and start hooking on him, I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's their thing. And to be fair to the Cenobites, yes, I just said that. To be fair to the Cenobites, they're not forcing this shit on people. They're not going out of their way. They're not like, someone has to solve the box. It's not even touch the box. You have to solve the box. So you have to get the box and then solve the box. And then boom, they show up and go, time to go to Pleasure Town, but it's gonna quickly become Pain Town before you fucking know it. And they show up and they drag your ass to hell. And your soul's supposed to be there. And that's what happened to Frank right up top of the movie. He dies and you feel like he's been missing for maybe a couple days. Like the passage of time between when Frank gets torn to shreds by the Cenobites and his brother moves into a house that he was squatting on, that apparently was their old family house, but Frank was squatting on it. His brother moves in with his wife, with his wife, Julia, and you don't really know how long of a time period it's been. Either way, they clean the place up, they move in, he wants to move into the old family house. And one day something bad happens. He gets a bad cut, bleeds real bad in a specific area in the basement area of the house. And suddenly, Frank returns. Now, he's not back, like he's like half of himself. And this is when some of the really over-the-top, very cool, practical, work is done. Practical, like you could really tell, like it's slimy, and this is old school 80s stuff right here, man. It's old school 80s stuff. Like it's like The Thing kind of shit. Like it's old school The Thing kind of shit. But yeah, which is another movie I should review. But yeah, oh man, this was so cool. Like I did enjoy. Like I really did appreciate that. The practical effects in this movie, the practical designs and the practical effects and the costuming was really on point. Like I gotta tell you that. Like right off the bat, that was on point and it was done well here. But Frank is not completely whole. He's like he's like a part of himself is back. It's enough of him to see and talk. And we find out that old Frankie and his brother's wife Julia had a fling. Apparently, which is hard to base, I'm like, okay, sure. He fucked Julia so good, that she was willing to do anything for him. By the way, it's not like they were having a continuous fling. One day, because they showed it in a flashback, one day Frank just shows up, like a day or two before their wedding. He just shows up, spit some game, I guess, at Julia. Pretty much like kind of goes all alpha on her or something, fucks her well. So good that she's like, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And this dude, so this dude is like a slimy, half-human guy right now, talking to her, and she's like, and he tells her that he needs more blood. So Julia starts luring men to the house and killing them to give Frank blood. Now, I don't know, the human mind is a mystery and there's many things. But I'm telling you right now, ain't no girl in the world putting it down on me good enough in one night for me to go murdering people. So Frank, I don't know, say what you want about his crazy ass attitude, but damn. But he must put it on her really good. Because even at the beginning of the movie, when you see her interacting with her husband and whatnot, she's got this look on her face, like this very unsatisfied, this very, I guess that's it, like this very just like reserved, just whatever look. Like she has no spark at all. It's not one of those, it's just like, damn, you feel bad for the father, honestly. He gets the real short end of the stick in this movie. But either way, so that happens, and he's trying to return, and the daughter finds out about it all, but I digress. Really, that's the only bits of it you need to know. That's the main story, is Frank and Julia trying to murder people so that he can return back to himself. And Frank's, like I say, Frank is a despicable, horrible human being. I mean, he's an asshole to the highest degree. Willing to kill his brother, willing to kill his sister, willing to kill his niece. I mean, willing to kill his supposed lover. Like, Frank is a terrible human being. Terrible human being. He's the kind of guy who should be in hell. And an actor who played Frank did a great job of just coming off like this slimy, nasty son of a bitch who you're just like, man, you deserved what you got, man. You deserve to be there getting what you got. And everything that happened. Like, I don't feel bad for you. And like I said, he did a great job with that. So at the end of the day, the movie isn't scary at all. It's not very scary at all. Everything about this movie comes from, let's say, the story, the set design, the costume design, the practical effects, the message / moral of the story that's underneath the story. Not to mention, out of all the horror movies, this movie actually has a bit of lore. Like it has lore. Like it's not like it doesn't beat you over the head with the lore. And I'm sure in the sequels they kind of pushed it out there more. But it does have a little bit of lore to it. Like you feel like there's more to this. Like the monster doesn't just get killed in the end. It's like, no man, you feel like this is something. There's more to this story. There's more to this world. This box. Like really, like who made the box? Like there's a lot of stuff that you could wonder, which I'm sure they explore in the other movies unsuccessfully. But either way, Hellraiser was I can't say I had a great, like it's such a weird thing with this movie, because many times watching it, I'm just like, oh boy. So it's like, I can't really say I had a great time, but it's one of the most interesting horror movies of all time for a reason, and it deserves its place in the horror classic department. I give Hellraiser a 8 out of 10. As a horror movie, it's about an 8 out of 10. As a movie, it's about an 8 out of 10. I do think it deserves its place in the memories of people. And honestly, out of all the horror movies, like outside of Nightmare on Elm Street, the OG Nightmare on Elm Street, this is the only one that has like a super high score. In the original Halloween movie, this one has a pretty good, decent score on Rotten Tomatoes, shockingly. It's like a 75%. That's what I was like, man, considering how, they can be sometimes, I'm surprised it has that high of a score. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the Cop Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have you seen Hellraiser? Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. If you got Amazon Prime, that's where I watched it. Anyways, thank you guys again. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.